My name is Mark Eisele, and my family and I own and operate the King Ranch, which is just west of Cheyenne. I started working for the Kings when I was 15 years old, and we ended up making a partnership, and they brought my family into it. My wife worked side by side with me on a lot of the operations. As my kids were growing up, they'd build fence, move cows, and now we're having a very good transition. I'm working on getting it to the next generation intact and protected.
I'm Kendall Roberts. I'm Mark and Trudy Eisele's daughter. I'm the second generation here at the King Ranch, but fourth generation rancher in the western United States in Colorado and Wyoming. There are three of us siblings, myself, my older brother, and younger sister. Well, the predecessors to the King Ranch, Ann and Jerry King, were avid wildlife watchers and bird watchers. And so they kind of instilled that in myself and my siblings, that we need to make sure we watch out for those kind of things. Do we have water available for the antelope and sometimes deer that run through? We've had elk, we've had moose, we've had all types of species and varieties of birds and ducks. And I think that that's great to know that our open spaces and our land management has provided so much for those animals, and that they continue to come back.
We're like everyone else. We like clean water, clean air, have a nice place to live. You can't abuse a resource and expect it to sustain a family ongoing. It just doesn't work that way. Ranches don't survive 4, 5, 6 generations on abused resource. You can't starve a profit out of a cow, and you can't raise cattle on an operation that's been thrashed.
We always try to remember that wherever you have one blade of grass, leave two. Take care of it, and it'll take care of you and provide more for your operation and your family. It's important to always have those natural resources and the preservation of the land so that we can continue to be the great part of the state, a cattle operation and land stewards.
We have lots of conservation practices we use here at the ranch. Some of them are too numerous to even remember off the top of my head, but we like to have cattle dispersed with different watering locations, fence lines that direct the cattle, and we keep them off of any kind of riparian areas. We try to use the wind and the sun. We use solar generation to pump some water.
I think what's important when it comes to the water is not only just the quantity, but also the quality. And I think that we provide an opportunity to also take better care of the water here. We don't use fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, because we have a really nice area that we're not affected by those situations. So the quality of the water, once it goes back into the ground, is as pure as it left the irrigation pivot or it was coming down the creek.
And our irrigation is a great example where we use technology to move us forward. We've gone from flood to high pressure back to low pressure irrigation. It saved us like 60% of our power bill, 20% of our water, produced the same results with incredibly less labor.
And something that I always like to tell people is that you can always work the land so that it's smarter and not harder, and utilize it, and pasture grazing, water conservation, and just find ways that are going to make it easier for you to continue your operation and also manage those natural resources.
Ranchers are the most active environmentalists I know. They're on the front lines. They understand environment and the conditions in which those things are fostered in. We have some obligation, a sense of obligation, to share that with the public and make them aware of that.
I think what's important to notice of our operation is that we are in such close proximity to the city limits of Cheyenne. We're in the public eye all the time. We have business parks right next to us and subdivisions. And I think when those eyes are on constant look at us, we want to make sure that we're showing them exactly what we do as an operation, and that is utilizing the grass and leaving some behind, making sure that our cattle are taken care of, making sure that the land looks better than the way we found it. And I think that that's important, because then they get a perspective that ranching does provide a great opportunity for land conservation, land preservation, and managing all those important factors like water and grass and open spaces.
And I think that may be one reason why wildlife gravitates to us. We've created a habitat that's eco-friendly to them, and that's a good feeling to see that come and happen on a day-to-day basis.